Hello everyone, Swear Matt here, and as Pokemon fans, we all have our favorite Pokemon. And today, I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite Pokemon. And I thought starting out 2018, this would be a great top 10 to start the year off. Though we are getting a new Pokemon game, and usually I do pick new favorites by every new game release, so you might even get it remade within this year. So lucky you guys. Keep in mind, some people had the luxury of having to pick their favorite Pokemon out of 700 to narrow down their favorite 10 favorites out of 702. Yeah, I'm different. I'm pretty sure I'm one of the first people to be making a top 10 favorite Pokemon list when Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon have been released. Of course, there are people who probably will have made it, but I haven't heard those people making a top 10 favorite Pokemon ever since the game's released. So lucky me, I have to narrow down my 10 favorites to 806, but I've already done that in advance, and I just want to say, before the list truly gets started, I remade the list not sevens, but hundreds of times, so please enjoy it, guys. And if your favorite Pokemon's not on the list, that's because I like a lot of Pokemon that you probably don't, or vice versa. But anyway, guys, welcome to Swear Matt's top 10 favorite Pokemon. Enjoy. Now coming in at the number 10 spot is Luxray. Now Luxray is awesome. Just look at it. It's a lynx. I love cats. It may not be a lion, which is my favorite animal, but it's pretty close. Also, electric is my 5th favorite typing. Fun fact. And it being a pure electric type really just helps me like it more. And although physical attacking Pokemon that are electric types really aren't that great, we're not talking about from a competitive scene. This is purely based on opinions and design. Most of the Pokemon I love have a story to them, but Luxray has a story to me. This was one of my favorite Pokemon to use in my first game, Pearl. Any playthrough that wasn't my first, where I just had Piplup. I may have spoiled it, angry, but whatever. Let's move on to number 9. Coming in at the number 9 spot is Crocodile. This is my favorite Pokemon from my favorite generation, Generation 5. So you bet it's gonna be on this list. 99.9% of the time, if it's a Unova playthrough at all, I had this Pokemon on my team. The only exception to this is a rare time when I have a Scraggy or pick up a Scraggy or a Grilber. But all the time, I have a Crocodile. And he always serves me well. So moving on to number 8. Coming in at number 8 is Gliscor. Yeah, if you couldn't tell, I like a lot of ground types already. Well, you got confirmation that I like ground types. Because there's definitely no shortage of those on my list. But Gliscor is just awesome. I love using it mainly because I love getting the Earthquake TM in Platinum and just teaching it, and lately anything that's not a flying type has the levitate ability dies. Because it's stab 100 base power, and they have 2 badges. Yup. 2 badges. It's also my favorite out of all of Ash's Pokemon. Sure, you may have some fierce battlers like Infernape and Charizard, and some wacky comedic Pokemon like Muck and Oshawott. But in my opinion, Gliscor has the best personality out of all of Ash's Pokemon. Let's move on to number 7. Alright, coming in at the number 7 spot is Sandslash. And if you guys couldn't tell by this picture, for the most part, all Alola forms are like a little bit more than their Cantonian counterparts. Or I like them the same amount. And there's going to be, and I like all the Cantonian forms that made it onto my list as much as I like their Alolan forms, so I'm not really talking about one of them, I'm talking about both of them. Sandslash, I guess, has a really good great design. It just looks intimidating. Plus, most of the time, I have Alolan Sandslashes on my team. And because I only got Moon version, even the times I played through Ultra Sun, I never used Alolan Ninetales. It's not that I don't like it, it's just the Alolan Sandslash is way too cool. I think the next playthrough that I do that's not a Nuzlocke of some form, I'm actually just going to trade in Alolan Sandslash. Not Sandslash, but Sandshrew for my team, instead of getting ridiculous traits on the GTS. Anyway, that's why Sandslash is number 7. Number 6. Coming in at the number 6 spot is Lotso. This is debatably my most nostalgic Pokemon. It's probably the most used Pokemon in the Sinnoh region for me, which, if we're talking about in the order that I played the games, that would basically be my home region, despite it not being my favorite. Sorry, Sinnoh, but Alola is just way too cool, despite there only being one real ice place in the game. I wasn't meaning for it to be a pun. Also, I like how they handled its Pokedex entry. It's not creepy how knowing whoever writes the Pokedex entries would probably would make you think it strangles people. Is that? No. Just similar to its appearance. It's a lifeguard. Anyway, let's move on to number 5. Now, cracking the top 5 spot is, starting off basically top 5 is Yanmega. Now, this is probably going to have one of the most interesting stories out of all of them besides Dawn, except the other 2 on this list. But that's besides the point. Yanmega, really? First time I tried out one of the battle facilities in Platinum in the Battle Frontier. Can't remember what it's called, but used the rental Pokemon. Yanmega was the king of my team, and I'll never forget you for that moment. That's why Yanmega is my favorite Pokemon. Number 4. Now, coming in at the number 4 spot is Machamp. Because, well, this is a very important story that I was thinking I was going to save for a later video, but Machamp is here, so I guess I'll share it now. Machamp was my first ever shiny Pokemon, my first playthrough of Fire Red, yeah. I was lost in a dark tunnel because I didn't know where to get Flash, so I was stumbling around near the exit now that I know how to get around. And while I was stumbling around for a bit, I found a shiny Machop. Little me was so excited, and Machamp's just always resonated with me ever since. Anyway, let's move on to number 3. Now coming in at number 3 is Empoleon. Now why is not Napoleon, Empoleon number 3? Well, it's the only star on this list because Piplup was my first ever Pokemon. Also, I love Dawn's in the anime. Not her Empoleon, her Piplup. But Barry's Empoleon was pretty cool too. Despite getting destroyed in the Sinnoh League, let's not talk about that. Well, there are some PokeTubers that I enjoy watching who think that Empoleon is dumb. I can understand why they don't like it, but honestly, I still don't understand why you don't like it. It's so awesome, especially in Pokken, despite it not being my main. But let's move on to number 2. Coming in at the number 2 spot is Marowak. Now this was easily this was easy to me. It looks so cool, and I love its backstory for the Cantonian form, but I love it even more in the Alolan form, and even despite me saying that I like all the Kanto and Alola forms on this list evenly, its design, in my opinion, is better, and its backstory is a lot more fleshed out. Before we get to number 1, I want to give a few honorable mentions to my mascot, Wailmer, for being my mascot. Maybe I'll give an in-depth story video about why Wailmer is my mascot in a future video, and the Scizor for being my Pokken main. But my number 1 favorite Pokemon of all time is Pyroar. Now, I know how a lot of people see it as a disappointing Pokemon, but my love for lions is too great for me to ignore that. Also, Galio could have easily taken this spot. I don't have too much of a connection to Solgaleo as Lunala is my number 1 favorite legendary Pokemon, so I can't just contradict what I said in a previous video unless I update it. Plus, I don't have too much a connection because I always played Moon version, never Sun version. Sure, I played Ultra Sun, but you see a normal Solgaleo for like 2 seconds. So I really didn't grow attached to it at all. And for the most part, always have Pyroars on my Gen 5, not 5 teams, 6 teams. Plus, one of my favorite movies of all time is The Lion King. It's also one of the first movies I've watched. But I just want to thank you guys all so much for watching, and I'm going to be making a countdown channel later today. Our first countdown will be up tomorrow, but I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.